Alt Mukashi. Why Momotaro could command animals with just one millet dumpling.
Hello, I'm Chronicle Monk. Did you ever wonder as a child why Momotaro could command animals with just one millet dumpling? Why were the Oni demons completely annihilated by just 4 intruders? And why does Oni Island, alone among all fairy tales, have a specific geographic location? Perhaps there's a completely different story, hidden beneath the Momotaro we know. When you analyze the 1,500-year-old historical record, Nihon Shoki, from a different angle, fascinating descriptions emerge. Kibitsu-hiko-no-mikoto dispatched to the western provinces were slain. Even more noteworthy is the description. In Bitchu province, Kibitsumiya Kanjincho, the demon lord killed by impalement. Blood flowed continuously for 3 days and nights. Analyzing these records from a modern perspective reveals that Momotaro's model, Kibitsu-hiko-no-mikoto, might not have conducted simple demon extermination, but possibly the largest systematic political persecution in ancient Japanese history. What if the victims numbered in the thousands? What if they were all Korean Peninsula immigrants and their families? What if their only crime was possessing iron-making technology superior to the Yamato Court? Modern research has revealed that 25% of Japan's population during the Kofun period were immigrants. But interestingly, this ratio decreased dramatically in subsequent eras. What happened to the hundreds of thousands of people who vanished? Perhaps there are historical truths we don't know, hidden from us?
Alt Mukashi explores these possibilities hidden within ancient tales. If you want to re-examine history from new perspectives, please subscribe to our channel. Now let's explore together this mysterious story that spans from ancient times to the present. Chapter 1, Original Text Digest.
First, let me share a shocking fact with you. The Momotaro told today is a complete falsification by the Meiji government. In records before the Edo period, Momotaro's birth and motivations were completely different. He wasn't born from a peach, but was a child born after an elderly couple, ate peaches and became young again. The reason for demon hunting was also vague, depicted merely as acts of plunder. Particularly noteworthy is the description in the Edo period book, Momotaro Mukashigatari. Here, what Momotaro did on Oni Island is clearly recorded, not as subjugation, but as massacre. It states he continued the slaughter mercilessly, even women and children. Even Fukazawa Yukichi sharply criticized Momotaro as utterly despicable for stealing the demon's treasure. Meiji intellectuals saw through the true nature of this story. However, as part of the Meiji government's national education policy, Momotaro was completely glorified. After adoption in elementary school readers, all cruel descriptions were deleted, and it was transformed into a beautiful story of a righteous hero punishing evil demons. So what are the historical facts? Momotaro's model, Kibitsu-hiko-no-mikoto, clearly recorded in Nihon Shoki and Kojiki, conducted regional subjugation operations as one of the 4 direction generals. The target was a person named Yura and his clan. According to historical sources, he's recorded as a Baekju prince, giant, 4 meters tall, and red-haired demon god. However, there's a significant contradiction here. In other parts of the same sources, Ura is described as a superior engineer and benefactor of regional development. Why did a benefactor need to be subjugated as a demon? Why does the same person receive completely opposite evaluations? The answer is obvious historical falsification by the victors.
Chapter 2, Historical Background and Analysis.
From the 3rd to 4th centuries during the early Kofun period, unprecedented large-scale population movement occurred across the Japanese archipelago. Political chaos on the Korean Peninsula. Goguryeo southern pressure and intensifying conflicts between Baekje and Silla led to massive migration of engineers, scholars, and royalty to Japan. They were not mere refugees. Iron-making, pottery, writing, architecture, agricultural technology, they were carriers of advanced technologies that Japan desperately wanted. Particularly the province of Kibi, where Ure established his base, was called Makane Fuku Kibi, the sacred land of iron-making. With abundant iron sand and charcoal, they mass-produced high-quality iron tools. Archaeological discoveries show that Kibi's iron production at the time far exceeded that of the Kinai region. Excavations at Kinoyo ruins confirm remarkable technical capabilities for the time. Stone walls totaling 2.8 kilometers in length, water gates with advanced drainage systems, large-scale blacksmith workshop complexes, largest scale, in Japan for that period, Korean-style mountain fortress construction techniques, all evidence of the immigrants' superior technical skills. However, there was a political trap here. For the Yamato Court, such a powerful independent force was an intolerable threat. Let's examine the Yamato Court's military technology level at the time. Main weapons were bronze swords and spears. Iron tool possession was limited, with few engineers. Meanwhile, Ura's Kibi Kingdom mass-produced iron weapons and possessed military technology directly imported from the Korean Peninsula. If armed conflict occurred, the court army had no chance of victory. Even more serious was their cultural influence. The immigrant communities formed ideal models of multicultural coexistence, and residents throughout Japan admired their progressiveness, literacy rates, advanced agricultural techniques, precision metalworking. They surpassed the court in every aspect. According to Shinsen Shojiroku, 326 out of 1,182 noble families, about 28% in early Heian period were of immigrant descent. But these are figures for immigrant families who survived. During the Kofun period, many more immigrants must have existed. So where did the vanished immigrants go? Archaeological evidence tells a terrifying truth. Korean artifacts decreased dramatically from the mid-5th century onward, particularly sites related to iron production, vanished from records as if they disappeared overnight. So the Yamato Court employed a cunning strategy. They demonized the Ura clan as Oni and fabricated the justification of subjugating evildoers who torment the people. This was the dehumanization of the enemy propaganda for invasive war, repeated, even in modern times. Interestingly, similar phenomena occurred in China during the same period. Records show northern dynasties conquered southward moving nomadic tribes by calling them demon tribes and demon lords. Is this coincidence? Or was ethnic cleansing systematically conducted throughout ancient East Asia?
Chapter 3: Reconstruction from the Hidden Perspective.
Now let's recreate what really happened. From the perspective of the erased side, at present-day Kanojo, iron-making smoke still rises in the morning mist. This was an ideal community of engineers built by the Ura clan. Royalty, craftsmen, scholars, and farmers who fled from Baekje were building a peaceful, multi-ethnic society in this new land. Ura was not merely an engineer. With Baekje royal blood, he also possessed high political insight. Having witnessed the chaos of the Korean Peninsula firsthand, he advocated the principle of peaceful coexistence without force.
Again today, young people come seeking iron. I'm impressed by the Japanese youth's eagerness to learn. It brings me the greatest joy that our technology can enrich the lives of the people of this land.
But lately, Yamato reconnaissance soldiers appear frequently, not like the friendly envoys before, but clearly those conducting military reconnaissance. I sense something ominous.
I understand. They're probably wary of our technical capabilities and political influence. But technology exists for people's happiness. Politics exists for peace. I never wish for conflict.
However, my lord, Yamato Court envoys recently began saying things like, monopolizing iron-making technology is outrageous, and we demand technological tribute to the court. This is clearly provocation.
Technology belongs to no one. I'll teach willingly to anyone who wishes to learn. That's our belief. But weapon manufacturing is different. I have no intention of creating tools of conflict.
Indeed, Ura's community achieved miraculous peace. Baekje, Silla, Goguryeo, and native Japanese people coexisted, while respecting each other's cultures. Children naturally learned multiple languages, and technological exchange was commonplace. However, this peace suddenly came to an end. In the 10th year of Emperor Sujin's reign, 88 BCE, an army of 3,000 led by Kibitsu-hiko-no-mikoto appeared.
Ura, you immigrants are dangerous elements, rebelling against the court. Immediately disarm and surrender your iron-making facilities to the court.
We have committed no evil acts. We merely teach technology and contribute to this land's development. We don't desire conflict with the court either.
That technology is precisely the problem. You're manufacturing weapons without court, permission, and building independent power. This is clear rebellion.
We're not making weapons agricultural tools. We make hoes, sickles, and plows to help people's farming. If you want confirmation, I'll show you our workshops as much as you want.
Stop your sophistry. We know those farm tools can be converted to weapons. First of all, your very existence is a challenge to the court's authority. However, the court army had no intention of dialogue. They had already been given the justification of demon extermination. And Yura's people were predetermined as evil from the start.
My lord, the encirclement is complete. All escape routes are sealed.
Lord Ura, resistance is futile now. If you surrender, perhaps at least the women and children's lives might be spared.
Were you a court spy from the beginning?
I'm sorry, but this is reality. We cannot oppose the Yamato Court's will.
My people, we have been betrayed, but we have families. We have children. We have the peaceful life. We built on this land. Let us defend our homeland to the end.
Thus began the most tragic ethnic cleansing in ancient history. It was a universal conflict structure of technology versus power, diversity versus unity, peace versus violence, one that resonates even today.
Chapter 4, Tactical Analysis, Incident Simulation.
When verified using modern military analysis techniques, the systematic and planned nature of this massacre becomes clear. Force comparison. Court Army 2,700 infantry, 300 cavalry, 200 supply troops. So Ura Army about 200 combatants, 600 non-combatants, women, children, elderly. Weapons comparison. Court Army bronze swords, wooden spears, bamboo bows and arrows. Ura Army iron swords, iron spearheads, iron-tipped arrows. Tactical analysis. The Court Army adopted typical siege annihilation tactics. Inukai Takeru's infantry from the front, a separate unit with insider information from Sasori, Morihiko's betrayal from the side, and Tomatama Omi's forces cutting off retreat routes. This was classic tactics later used in the Genpei War. However, what's most noteworthy in modern tactical analysis is the planned nature of this operation. According to military historians' estimates, mobilizing a 3,000-man force and conducting a march of several hundred kilometers requires at least 6 months of preparation. This means the court had been planning Ura's annihilation for over 6 months. Even more important is the possibility that Sasori Morihiko's betrayal was orchestrated in advance. Detailed analysis of historical sources shows that while Sasori Morihiko was Ura's most trusted confidant, he switched to the court side at the decisive moment. This was likely not spontaneous betrayal, but a double-agent operation planned from the beginning. Battle progress. Day 1, surprise attack captures Kanojo outer defenses. Day 2, general assault on inner defenses, fierce fighting. Day 3, battle line collapse due to Ura's arrow wound, final resistance. The legendary Battle of Chisui River was Ura's army's final resistance attempting to break the siege. In the river-crossing battle, Ura was shot in the left eye by Kibitsu-hiko's arrow, sustaining fatal wounds. Modern military simulation shows how long a small elite force holed up in a fortress can resist against regular army. Even considering terrain and weapons advantages, the answer is 72 hours. This exactly matches the battle duration recorded in historical sources. Finally overwhelmed by superior numbers, Ura was captured and publicly executed. However, the massacre didn't end there. The court army executed Ura's family, engineers, and even local residents who had interacted with them as accomplices. The historical source, Bitchu Province Kibitsumiya Kanjincho, contains the terrifying description, "The demon god's bloodline, all slain." This was clearly guilt by bloodline association. Systematic genocide aimed at genetic extermination. Official records state casualties as several hundred, but modern demographic estimates suggest several thousand. Calculating backwards from Kibi's total population at the time, about 60% of immigrant residents were massacred. This is a scale that would be clearly recognized as genocide under modern international law.
Chapter 5, Reinterpretation of the Lesson.
The fact that this great massacre has been passed down for 1,500 years as a beautiful fairy tale is the most terrifying truth of all. This isn't mere historical falsification. It's systematic and continuous memory manipulation. Here we see the perfected form of information control by those in power. The perpetrator Kibitsu-hiko was glorified as righteous hero Momotaro, while the victims, immigrant engineers, were demonized as evil Oni. Massacre was replaced with heroic, righteous battle, plunder with deserved punishment for evil. Even more malicious is that this falsified story is built into the education system. From kindergarten to elementary school, children throughout Japan are indoctrinated with the values that Momotaro is justice, Oni are evil. This is cultural genocide. After physical massacre comes the erasure of memory and culture. The real Ura and his people were benefactors who enriched the region with technology and culture. Their children learned Japanese and integrated into local society. Yet they were depicted as subhuman oni and made into beings who deserved extermination. The hidden meaning of Momotaro's companions, dog, monkey, pheasant, is also shocking. Saru, go away. Inu, not here. Kiji, return home. This was a blatant exclusion message toward immigrants. Get out. Don't be here. Go back to your homeland. Violent, discriminatory consciousness was embedded. The same structure continues today. Systematic exploitation of foreign technical trainees, human rights violations in immigration facilities, organized spread of hate speech. The same xenophobia as ancient times is being implemented as national policy in different forms. Particularly terrifying is information control unified between government and media. The true purpose of immigration law revision, the reality of technical training systems, human rights conditions for foreign workers. These truths are thoroughly concealed, while modern Oni images like security deterioration and cultural friction are spread instead. What is Momotaro's true lesson? First, don't blindly believe those in power's propaganda. Those claiming justice aren't necessarily right. We must listen to the voices of those labeled evil. Second, don't swallow mass media information whole. They always function as mouthpieces for those in power. To know truth, you must research primary sources yourself and verify from multiple perspectives. Third, see through brainwashing by education systems. Much of the common sense taught in schools is fabrication, convenient for those in power. Especially history education is the most important means of information control. Above all, don't treat people with different cultures as oni. Technical immigrants, refugees, foreign workers. They are the modern Euro. We must not repeat the same tragedy from 1500 years ago.
Chapter 6, Conclusion and Call to Action.
How will you process this truth tonight? A great massacre systematically concealed for 1,500 years. Ethnic cleansing perpetrators wearing masks of righteous heroes. Blood-stained history disguised as beautiful fairy tales. Cultural genocide continuing through education systems. Knowing these facts, can you still think of Momotaro as a champion of justice? And can you say with certainty that the same things aren't happening in modern Japan? Even today, government and media continue to thoroughly hide inconvenient truths. The reality of foreign workers, human rights issues in immigration facilities, organized spread of hate crimes. The modern slavery system called technical training programs, these are modern versions of demon extermination. Who will be targeted next as villains? What massacre will next be glorified as righteous battle? When will the next mass killing disguised as a beautiful fairy tale occur? History inevitably repeats, because those in power always need beautiful stories to justify violence. And the masses accept those stories without question, becoming accomplices to the next massacre. However, as long as there are those who know the truth, complete concealment is impossible. Internet proliferation has also made information control difficult.
More people are seeing through the lies of those in power. If this truth shocked you, if you want to know more about history concealed by the government, please subscribe to our channel. And if there's any modern demon extermination happening around you, please share it in the comments. Foreign discrimination in workplaces, bullying in schools, exclusion movements in communities, biased media reporting. They might be the beginning of new Momotaro legends.
We'll meet again next time with all of you who have the courage to pursue truth. Don't be deceived by the lies of those in power. Cultivate eyes that see through hidden truths. Don't be misled by media manipulation. Develop the habit of thinking with your own head. That's the only way to prevent new tragedies. This was Kuroneko Monk. I sincerely hope that someday all Oni will have their honor restored and all Momotaro will have their true identities exposed. Until that day, let's continue pursuing truth.